Hey guys, what's going on? This is the conservative speaking, and I wanted to talk about how Hunter Biden's business deals in China has influenced Joe Biden's policy making. Now, in case if you guys are not aware, on November 15th, 2021, Joe Biden signed a $1.2 trillion so-called infrastructure plan. It's really called the Green New Deal because there are more, because the items that are listed that are a part of the infrastructure plan is supposed to make America greener while making no improvement on the world. So America's supposed to be greener even though the world's not going to get greener. But I want you guys to pay attention to the graph that you are seeing, that's right in front of you. These are the provisions that are in the so-called Build Back Better Act, and the following items that are presented is what's in the $1.2 trillion infrastructure package, and these items are listed in billions. I will refer back to this plan in my next video, in which I speak about the $1.2 trillion infrastructure plan in greater detail. But what I really want you guys to focus on is the clean energy and electricity tax credit, which is at $190 billion. That's what's going to be spent out of the $1.2 trillion infrastructure package. And out of that $190 billion, 75 billion of that is going to go towards electrical vehicles. Now, why is that important? Well, it's important because of Hunter Biden's dealings and how Hunter Biden seems to, his company seems to are making deals with China, which in then is actually affecting the policy making that Biden is trying to back, which does cause a conflict of interest. And I will get more into that as the video goes. And I will now start to get more into that starting now. So, Hunter Biden's firm helps China gain control of electric car minerals. This is a report according to the New York Post, which does amazing journalism. So it states that Hunter Biden's investment firm reportedly struck a deal to transfer the majority of Congo's Tenke Fungurume mine to a Chinese company in 2016. So it reads, Hunter Biden's investment firm helped broker a 2016 deal that gave a Chinese state-backed company control of a massive African mine rich in cobalt, a mineral essential for the production of electric car batteries. Pay attention, guys. So the deal, first reported by the Washington Free Beacon during the 2020 presidential election, was spotlighted by the New York Times Saturday as Congress inches closer to approving President Biden's $2 trillion social spending plan, which earmarks billions of dollars to promote electrical vehicles. Coincidence or no coincidence? I mean, come on now, all you have to do really is follow the money. In 2016, an investment firm founded by Hunter Biden with several Chinese partners were cut into a complex $3.8 billion transaction that transferred 80% of Congo's Tenke Fungurume mine from an American company to Beijing-backed China molybdenum. Amazing. President Joe Biden, Hunter Biden's father, was the sitting vice president when the deal was struck. So I want you to keep this in mind. All right. This deal, this deal actually happened back in 2016. This happened in 2016. This was 5 years prior to Joe Biden becoming the president of the United States. Okay? This was the type of deal that they were trying to broker all the time. You know what I mean? This is something that Hunter Biden and I'm sure Joe Biden had in mind, because eventually, when Joe Biden was able to come into office, that he will then be able to strike this deal. That Joe Biden will now be able to, or Joe Biden would now be able to then pass legislation that will allow billions of tax-paying dollars to go towards electrical vehicles. And the reason is simple, because Hunter Biden already secured a deal with the Chinese so that the Chinese would then be able to acquire the Cobalt mine, which obviously Cobalt is the main material necessary to make electric batteries, to then put in these electric vehicles. Okay? I was taught to believe that 2 + 2 = 4, not 5. And just because someone doesn't necessarily explain something thoroughly to you doesn't necessarily mean that when you see everything add up, that you start to understand what's truly going on. And what's truly going on is that tax-paying dollars are now going to be sent to do business with China to produce electric batteries, along with the jobs necessary to produce the electric batteries. All of that is going to be put into China. Our tax dollars now are going to go towards China to put batteries in electric vehicles, to provide the electric vehicles to the American people, which will be an inconvenience for the American people, because unless you have the infrastructure needed to even maintain an electrical vehicle, all this is going to provide is nothing but an inconvenience. While the Bidens will be able to profit off of that inconvenience, while China will be able to profit off of our inconvenience using our tax dollars. Okay? Because you can imagine, if you don't have the infrastructure needed to even maintain an electrical vehicle, then it really is rendered useless to you. And even if you do, I mean, how much power is it going to take for you to charge an electrical vehicle? What will your electrical bill look like? Okay, but then again, they're saying that these are the things that are necessary for the American people, because it will help the environment. What it's really doing is helping line the pockets of the Chinese and the Bidens, because best believe Hunter Biden was compensated very well for this. And anything that Hunter Biden was able to get, Joe Biden will definitely get a major cut of that as well. Okay? In the end, the Bidens sold out the American people to the enemy, all for the necessary need to make a profit. The Bidens sold the American people out for profit. That's what it really comes down to. They sold the American people out for profit, and boy, did Hunter Biden did the Bidens make it big. Because if you're able to help another equity firm, a Chinese equity firm, if you're able to help another equity firm secure a mine for $3.8 billion, I mean, if they're able to raise that, best believe there's going to be a profitability made into that to make that happen. And it will be, because think about it. It cost them $3.8 billion for the Chinese to secure this. However, Joe Biden is spending $75 billion of our tax dollars to produce electric vehicles. So if you really look at it, I mean, if you look at it, the Chinese are going to get a massive, massive, massive cut into that $75 billion. Because if you don't have the if you don't have the electrical batteries, the electrical vehicles cannot run. So all of the manufacturers and all of the auto manufacturers have no choice but to turn to China for the batteries. This is a win-win situation for China and for the Bidens, and the losers wind up being the American people, because we wind up suffering a double whammy. The double whammy is our tax dollars are going towards China and the jobs overseas to China to produce these electrical batteries that now we're going to be, in a way, coerced into getting because of the tax credits that will be available for you if you're able to obtain one of these electrical vehicles. And this is also going to be a double whammy because now everything around us is going to be taxed. Everything that we own is going to be taxed. The government is going to steal your money to raise funds to give us crap that we don't need. That's where the double whammy comes from. All right, our tax dollars are paying for stuff that we don't need, and we're going to have to pay all of this back through taxation. All right, aka theft from the government by pretty much charging you for everything that you own. It's amazing, but that's what's happening. The mine is one of the world's largest sources of cobalt, and China's control of minerals presents a critical vulnerability to the future of U.S. domestic auto industry, Biden White House reported in June. But clearly they don't seem to be too worried about it, because Hunter Biden was the guy behind the deal that they struck in 2016 that allowed China to obtain the majority of the cobalt. Practically, it was Hunter Biden that's helping the enemy. And Joe Biden was the one that invested in electrical vehicles. And because his son was able to help the Chinese obtain the cobalt, and Biden was able to throw the tax dollars towards the Chinese to create the batteries necessary to put in these electrical vehicles, in the end, Joe Biden and Hunter Biden sold out the American people. All right. If China's control of cobalt is going to cause a vulnerability to the U.S. domestic auto industry, it was because the Bidens caused that to happen. They set up the game plan for this to happen the whole time. They set up the game plan from 2016 when Hunter Biden's company helped the Chinese firm obtain the biggest cobalt mine in the Congo. This was their plan all along. And their plan was to sell out the American people, all in the name of profit. Doesn't matter if this is going to affect how China is able to affect and control the auto industry. Didn't matter at all. All that mattered was that the American people will get sold out at the expense of the American people and at the profit of the Bidens. And the Bidens profited off of this immensely. And they will profit off of it. They will continue to profit off of this immensely, considering that Hunter Biden, as of April of 2021, still owns a 10% equity into his company. It's amazing, folks. It's amazing how these people could sell out the American people all for the name of money. Because in the end, it's money that the Bidens look up to. It's money that the Bidens worship. They worship money more than they worship God. And they're able to obtain it at the hands of the American people. Amazing, folks. Amazing. Amazing stuff. Amazing stuff. It's funny that the Bidens look at the American people as a bunch of dollar signs that they'll be able to put in their bank account and in their wallets, as opposed of looking at the American people, giving them the actual, giving them things that will actually help the American people. But the Bidens are not interested in doing that. Okay. Um, this obviously is a great revelation, because this will at least open people's eyes into what Joe Biden's true intentions are. Okay, considering that there's still a major conflict of interest. I mean, think about it. So Hunter Biden's company is able to help this Chinese equity firm secure a huge cobalt mine in the Congos for over $1 billion. They're able to secure this major cobalt mine in the Congos, and then and then after doing that, Joe Biden Joe Biden then becomes president, and now all of a sudden Joe Biden wants to put out $75 billion in tax credits for electrical vehicles, and you guys don't find the irony in that? I mean, clearly there's a monetary incentive in doing so. All right? Because the Chinese were able to do this, now the Chinese are the ones that are going to control the majority of the cobalt, meaning that they are the ones that are going to be able to benefit from every electrical vehicle being produced, because the main ingredient in these batteries needed to or mainly the main ingredient in these batteries that will be put in these electrical vehicles, in order for these electrical vehicles to move, um, is cobalt. Cobalt is the main ingredient that are needed to make the batteries that will be put in these electrical vehicles. And all this is going to do is allow China to grow more in revenue, and China will then use this to become even a much more stronger and powerful and sovereign nation. You know, it was Joe Biden that came out and stated that they were very, very concerned with China, with China's growth, and China potentially growing and controlling every single mineral on Earth, and every single country now having to do business with China. So if Joe Biden con- was so concerned about China growing, then why would they then help the enemy? Why would his son help the enemy? The reason being is simple. Joe Biden has zero intentions in helping the American people, nor does Joe Biden care about China growing vastly, especially when China is going to be able to fatten the Biden's pockets. And with this deal, that Hunter Biden is involved in, this is going to make China greater, and this is going to make the Bidens richer. All right? And that's what it was all about all the time. It was all about the Bidens benefiting from this great deal at the expense of the American people. It was about that all the time. This is how Joe Biden is making Americans last. All right? Putting Americans last and putting the elites first. Because in the end, money talks and BS walks. And as long as you put money in front of the Biden's hands, as long as you put money in front of their faces, the Bidens will take the bait all the time. Mark my word on this. Okay? This was a deal to make the Bidens rich, and the Bidens will get very rich off of this. Hunter Biden definitely is going to benefit from this, and you have to believe that by Hunter Biden being able to benefit off of this, his father will also benefit as well. I mean, come on. We were taught to believe that 2 + 2 = 4, not 5. There's no way that Joe Biden is going to use our money to pay for tax credits for electrical vehicles if Hunter Biden doesn't secure this deal with the Chinese and gets a major kickback from them, and then Hunter Biden not being able to pay Joe Biden for doing so. I mean, come on, there's an incentive to this. All right? The problem is, in the end, we the people wind up paying for something that A, we won't need, that will be very inconvenient to us, and we're going to have to wind up paying 2 to 3 times more for everything else around us because of this ridiculous government welfare expansion deal that this administration has caused. All right? That's what you call a double whammy. When you wind up paying for something and you do not get a return back on your investment, not to mention, and then also everything else being expensive. The cost of food will go up. The cost of housing will go up. All right? The cost of toys will go up. The cost of supplies will go up. And we're not getting anything back for it. All right? That's what you call a double whammy, for sure. So we're going to get a bunch of EVs that are going to be useless for us, especially if you don't have the infrastructure to even have an EV in the first place. Not to mention, if you don't even have the budget to pay for it, how in the world can you do it? I mean, the average electrical vehicle starts around $50,000. I mean, even in order for you to to get these incentives, that you will have to qualify for it. So you will have to get a specific vehicle within a specific price range in order for you to even get those tax credits. But this is what you pay for. This is the reason why government expansions doesn't work. This is the reason why paying for something. Well, this is the reason why whenever you spend money that you don't have, and it goes towards things that won't pay off for itself, these are the things that we need to avoid. And we can do that by voting these people out. All right? Because in the end, when you're being given things that won't necessarily benefit you financially, nor will it make your life more convenient, and on top of that, you're gonna now everything around you has to cost 2 or 3 times more than what it did last year just to pay for all of this nonsense. That, to me, is not a return on your investment at all. And all the federal government is doing is bankrupting your money, diluting your money, and making it worthless every single day that goes by. But hey, if this is what you like, then welcome to this new America. The new America that really is only going to be catered to the one percenters. Because I don't see how anyone that's not a high earner can be able to afford to live in this America. I don't know how. All right? Unless you're a high earner with disposable income, this type of America will be an America that you will be literally priced out of. All because the Biden administration is promising you free stuff until you realize who's paying for it. But anyway, let me know what you think of this matter. Leave a comment in the comment section after you subscribe to my channel. Smash the like button if you like the video. Share the video. And subscribe to my channel so I'll be able to provide you content on the double. Also, when you subscribe to my channel, click on the notification button so you'll be notified when I'll be able to put out new videos, so that you'll be able to be the first one to know, and you'll be able to be the first one to view my video. And with that being said, this is D Conservative signing out. Have a blessed day.